Gamers, welcome back to EPG-Every Platform Gamer, the channel where we cover gaming news and do deep dives across PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, PC, all of it. Few characters in gaming history have undergone a transformation as fascinating and as creatively driven as Yoshi. What began in 1990 as a simple companion in Super Mario World quickly evolved into something far more significant, a fully realised franchise built around experimentation, artistic identity and a distinct philosophy that sets it apart even from its parent Mario series. When Yoshi first appeared, he was designed to expand Mario's gameplay. He wasn't just a cosmetic addition, he changed how players interacted with the world. The ability to eat enemies, convert them into tools and gain new abilities fundamentally altered the rhythm of platforming. But what's remarkable is that Nintendo recognized Yoshi as something more than just a mechanic. They recognized him as a creative foundation. From that moment forward, the Yoshi franchise became something unique in Nintendo's catalog. It wasn't designed to compete with Mario or Zelda in terms of scale or spectacle. Instead, it became a space for experimentation where gameplay mechanics, visual identity and tone could evolve in bold and sometimes unexpected ways. Across more than 3 decades, Yoshi has come to represent Nintendo's willingness to take creative risks, often prioritizing imagination and accessibility over traditional challenge. The creation of Yoshi is rooted in an idea that predates his debut by years. Nintendo's Shigeru Miyamoto had long envisioned Mario riding a creature, but technical limitations prevented this concept from being realized on earlier hardware. When the Super Nintendo arrived, that vision could finally be achieved and Yoshi was born. His introduction was more than a simple design addition. It expanded the possibilities of platforming itself. The mechanics introduced alongside him, particularly enemy consumption and egg-based interactions, laid the groundwork for what would eventually define the Yoshi series. However, despite Yoshi's immediate popularity, Nintendo did not initially know how to build a full franchise around him. Instead, they experimented exploring different genres and gameplay styles in search of an identity. The earliest Yoshi games reveal a franchise still searching for itself. Titles like Yoshi in 1991 and Yoshi's Cookie leaned entirely into puzzle gameplay. Rather than focusing on movement and exploration, these games centered around pattern recognition, timing and quick decision making. They were simple, accessible and addictive, but they bore little resemblance to what Yoshi would eventually become. This period reaches its most unusual point with Yoshi's Safari, a light gun shooter that positioned Yoshi as a vehicle rather than a protagonist. It was a striking departure not just from the Mario formula, but from any coherent vision of Yoshi as a character. What defines this era is uncertainty. Nintendo clearly understood that Yoshi had appeal, but they had not yet discovered how to translate that appeal into a lasting gameplay identity. In hindsight, this period feels like a series of creative prototypes, interesting on their own, but leading towards something much larger. Everything changed with Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. This was not just another spin-off, it was a moment where Yoshi became a fully realised character and franchise lead. The game introduced a completely new design philosophy. Instead of simply navigating levels as quickly as possible, players were encouraged to explore and experiment and interact with the environment in meaningful ways. The egg system allowed for precise aiming and puzzle solving, while the flutter jump added a sense of control and fluidity that transformed movement into something expressive. Perhaps most importantly, the game introduced a tone that would define the series going forward. The hand-drawn crayon-style visuals gave Yoshi's Island a storybook quality, setting it apart visually from everything else on the market. It felt playful, imaginative, and deliberately crafted to evoke creativity. The inclusion of Baby Mario as a gameplay mechanic added another layer of uniqueness. Protecting him introduced tension without relying on traditional difficulty spikes, creating a system that was accessible but still deeply engaging. Yoshi's Island didn't just define the Yoshi series, it set a new standard for what platformers could be. It proved that a game could be mechanically innovative, visually distinctive and emotionally engaging all at once. With Yoshi's Story, Nintendo took a bold step away from the complexity of Yoshi's Island while the core mechanics remained. The structure of the game was simplified, focusing on shorter replayable levels and a fruit-based progression system. At first glance, this might appear to be a step backward, but in reality it represents a key turning point in the identity of the series. Yoshi's Story leaned heavily into visual presentation, embracing a pop-up book aesthetic that emphasized charm and accessibility over mechanical depth. This shift signaled an important change. From this point forward, Yoshi games would prioritize artistic direction and atmosphere as much as gameplay. The series was no longer just about platforming, it was about creating worlds that felt imaginative and inviting. The 2000s saw the Yoshi franchise once again move into a phase of experimentation, this time driven by new hardware capabilities. Games like Yoshi Topsy Turvy used motion controls to manipulate the game world itself, while Yoshi Touch and Go explored touchscreen-based gameplay. These titles often felt more like demonstrations of new technology than fully realized experiences, but they served an important purpose. They allowed Nintendo to test ideas without the pressure of maintaining a rigid formula. At the same time, Yoshi's Island DS attempted to expand the core mechanics of the original by introducing multiple baby characters, each with unique abilities. While ambitious, this expansion also highlighted a recurring challenge within the series, balancing innovation with clarity. This era is defined not by consistency but by curiosity. Nintendo continued to explore what Yoshi could be, even if not every experiment succeeded. The release of Yoshi's Woolly World marked the beginning of a new era for the franchise. For the first time in years, the series had a clear direction again, one built entirely around visual identity and tactile design. By constructing the world out of yarn and fabric, the game transformed its environments into something that felt almost physical. This was not just an aesthetic choice, it influenced how the game played, how players interacted with objects, and how levels were structured. This direction expanded further with Yoshi's Crafted World, which replaced fabric with everyday materials like cardboard and paper. The world became a three-dimensional diorama, with layers that players could interact with in an entirely new way. Throwing eggs into the foreground or background added depth to both gameplay and exploration. At this point, Yoshi games fully embraced their identity as creative playgrounds. The focus shifted away from challenge and toward discovery. Players were encouraged to take their time, explore every corner, and appreciate the craftsmanship of each level. With the release of Yoshi and the Mysterious Book on the Nintendo Switch 2, the franchise appears to be entering its most ambitious phase yet. The concept of exploring a living book introduces a new layer of interaction, one that blurs the line between platforming and discovery. Rather than progressing through levels in a linear fashion, players are encouraged to experiment with creatures, observe their behaviors, and record discoveries. This represents a significant shift away from traditional platforming goals towards something more exploratory and open-ended. The presence of Mr. E, a talking book that guides the experience, reinforces this focus on curiosity. The game is structured not around overcoming obstacles, but around understanding the world. In many ways, this feels like a natural evolution of everything the series has been building toward. It combines the artistic sensibilities of Yoshi's Story, the tactile creativity of Crafted World, and the mechanical depth of Yoshi's Island into a single cohesive experience. What makes the Yoshi series so unique is its refusal to stand still. While other franchises refine and perfect the formula, Yoshi continually reinvents itself. This willingness to experiment has resulted in a catalogue of games that, while inconsistent at times, is always interesting. The series prioritizes creativity over competition, imagination over intensity. It offers experiences that are accessible to new players while still providing depth for those who seek it. Yoshi is not defined by a single gameplay style or visual identity. Instead, he embodies a philosophy, one that values exploration, experimentation, and artistic expression. From its uncertain beginnings as a collection of puzzle games to its current position as one of Nintendo's most creative franchises, the journey of Yoshi is one of constant evolution. Each era of the series reflects a different approach to game design, from the mechanical innovation of Yoshi's Island to the artistic experimentation of its modern entries. And with Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, the franchise appears ready to take another bold step forward. Yoshi may not dominate the gaming landscape in the same way as Mario or Zelda, but that has never been its goal. Instead, it occupies a unique space, one where creativity thrives, where ideas are tested and where the boundaries of what a platformer can be are continually refined. And as the Switch 2 era begins, one thing is certain: Yoshi isn't just evolving, he always has been. And with every new game, Nintendo pushes the boundaries and gives us another delightful adventure to enjoy. Thanks for joining us for this video. Look out for our upcoming deep dive review of the new Yoshi game releasing today. And thanks for watching. This is EPG Every Platform Gamer. Like, comment and subscribe. You can find us on all social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, formerly known as X. You can also catch all our articles and our videos on our website. And remember to game anywhere and everywhere.